Hi everyone, it's Danielle and Colby with This Man and This Woman, your early marriage strategist here to help you thrive and survive in the 5, meaning your first 5 years of marriage. So, hey Colby.
What up,
I
baby?
almost forgot to speak to you.
She do this in real
Every
life. She walk in the house
time.
and go straight in the room. She don't say nothing.
This is not. This is not the
okay.
time.
All right. I thought this was a grievance.
It is not.
Nah, I'm just joking.
Anyways, if you all have been keeping up with This Man and This Woman on Instagram or Facebook, guess what? Y'all know we've been talking about
nasty sex.
Stop. That is not. You know what? I'm gonna kick you out. I'm gonna put Kobe out of here in a second. But yes, we've been talking about sex, and we understand it's a really tough topic sometimes to talk about, especially on an open forum like
even
social media.
For adults, it's tough to talk about.
Yes.
You know, some of y'all mamas follow you on Facebook, so I know you don't want to say too much, but your mama don't follow you on Instagram, so you got a little bit more leeway to kind of jump into the discussion and share some information, share some personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, some topics got a lot more feedback and a lot more, I'll say, conversation than others. Yeah, we got some good interaction on some topics, and others were a little like, all right, y'all a little nervous to talk about it. It's all good.
It's okay. And if you've missed any of that, the poster's still up. Go check us out on Facebook or Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
We covered topics such as intimacy, frequency of sex, sex drive, pornography, a slew of other things that we feel that couples really, face in, their everyday life within marriage.
Right.
And so, that's where we were with that. And now we're trying to bring all of this full circle and actually want to discuss sex and spirituality. As you can see, my boy over here, when we first started, was like, nasty sex. And so a lot of times, like, that's how people's, their view is that it's nasty, or it's taboo, or you don't talk about it. It's ungodly, or it's I don't know. It's dirty. Like it's not something that's thought of as beautiful and intimate and loving.
And a creative process.
Exactly. Yeah. And it almost makes it feel like you're talking about the speed that you have sex, like slow and sensual and stuff. It's beautiful. No. Y'all, needless to say, this will be an interesting discussion between him and myself about this. And we like to keep it fun and laugh and make fun, of the stuff that we understand that could be a little challenging to discuss. But I want to move beyond just talking about, the physical aspect of sex.
Right.
Or, the pleasure that both you and your spouse may have, when you engage in lovemaking.
Yeah, we want to take it to a higher plane. We feel like there are certain planes.
There's levels to this.
Yeah, there's levels to it. So, you might have just a purely physical, like no emotions involved, random hookup sex, and then, but when we talk about it in the frame of marriage, that happens in marriages too. Like an uninvolved, unemotional, one-sided sex. Then there can be better sex where you both say, like, we want to do this.
We're in tune.
Just came from a date. We're in tune. We're feeling good. We might have had a glass of wine or 6, and it's time to get down. And then, you get your emotions involved. You get some of the barriers that you have. Some of the things your lady won't normally let you do, she might let you do a little bit more. So.
And that's so funny that you say that, because we are, like, that's a for real thing that I understand that women deal with. And I think that, like, my understanding of sex and spirituality just kind of came into play in the last couple years about going deeper, like really in the sense of connection.
Right.
Your sexual energies and what actually happens when you connect with, your spouse in that way. It's just funny. I always tell Colby that sometimes I feel like we read each other's minds. Like,
that's true.
I can be on my way home and I'm like, oh my goodness, some chicken from this spot would be so good. And I walk in and he's purchased it.
Yeah.
It just connects us on a different plane. We're not saying that you're able to necessarily read your spouse's
it's
mind.
not like
It's not like that.
Telepath or anything.
Yes, but it's we're communicating. We are exchanging. There is a transference of energies that happen, and
I mean, if you look at it, we think about sex and we talk about spirituality. Some people might look at it in the frame of traditional religion.
right.
Even in the Bible, they talked a lot about sex. And if you're in a marriage, then there shouldn't be any limits or any boundaries to most of the things that you do.
Right.
Then you think about just the spirituality, the nature part, or you think about chakras. You think about yoga. You think about all these things that kind of connect people's energies and the yin and the yang and all this stuff. So there are many different spiritual aspects to sex.
Definitely.
Kama Sutra, all these things. Tantric sex.
Yeah, tantric sex. Manifesting things within your life, like your thoughts. Like, what are you thinking about in the act of sex? A lot of times, and y'all just be real, we could be thinking about these bills we gotta pay.
Mm-hmm.
We can be thinking about, y'all better be quiet before we wake up these children.
Yeah.
You can be thinking about,
hurry up and finish.
yes, let's get this over with.
Right.
I'm sleepy, I'm tired. It can be so much. So I'm learning that the spiritual side is really allowing yourself to be vulnerable in front of your spouse, being present while you're there. Talking it's almost like a prayer before you pray. I mean, before you engage in lovemaking.
Right.
And meaning that it's not necessarily that you sit down and bow your head and all of that, but that you come together and your thoughts and you're taking your time to create a sacred space around the area that you're in. You know what I'm saying?
It's simple. Like, this is stuff that some people already engage in and things that you already do when you have like deep, passionate, loving sex. But you don't think about it as spiritual, like just deep eye contact.
Yes.
Feeling somebody's breathing, matching their breathing. A lot more sensual touch, feeling their skin, tasting their skin. Yeah.
Them in,
all those things. Communication back and forth. Those are all spiritual connections. That energy is being exchanged in all those different forms.
It definitely is.
But people don't think about it that way. They just think about it as, oh, we just had some great, amazing sex and I felt a connection, but you don't think about it as a spiritual connection. And
releasing stressors from everyday life, whatever may be happening in your marriage. What I do realize is that there is a difference between physical intimacy and emotional intimacy. A lot of times, women may feel that the sex is good, but they don't feel their partner present. Right. And you can feel that. You can physically, it was great, or it felt good, or maybe it's not, but you don't feel the presence of your spouse. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times that's why we say intimacy also happens outside of the bedroom, that's true. With engaging and talking and making sure I see you, right? Because the monotony, breaking up some of the monotony of the day-to-day activities. Sometimes I'll lose track of what day we're on with so much that we actually have going on. So when we are able to connect that way.
Just like this morning,
what?
Before you left for work and you had on your outfit, hair was looking amazing, makeup perfect. I was just like, man, I felt like a connection to you. That was foreplay for me already. Right. Before she put on her little gangster bandana and her Chuck Norris denim sleeveless shirt.
You know what? We're going to edit all this out.
We don't need to edit it.
We are. Because you didn't stay here and call my vest. Chuck Norris. It ties up to the front, people. Anyways, you ain't gonna clown me on here. Anyways, back to connecting with your spouse in a spiritual way. I feel like could really take you all to new levels. I'm really excited to share some insight from a friend of mine. Her name is Amora. She's an intuitive healer, yes, and and we tried to get that going one time. We messed up a little bit.
We tried to do a live video, and it just ain't happening because we ain't never went live.
But you know what? The time is coming, just so you can get an insight, from someone else, and we're not buying or selling anything. What we're saying is that we just want to share maybe some things that helped us connect more with each other when it came to lovemaking. And be able to let you all know if you're seeking to have a deeper connection with your spouse and maybe want to manifest some new things in your life. We're not talking about just material things. We're talking about the environment within your home, the energy that you have there. If there's some discord, if y'all been arguing a lot, if there's been a disconnect where you all aren't really speaking or engaging with each other in that way,
right.
You just believe that this is some stuff that could help elevate you to a new level. And sex is one of those ways.
Right.
And as married couples, as adults in general, we should be able to have this dialogue.
And have the dialogue around it. I mean, sexual healing wasn't just a song. Like it really has a true meaning.
It really is.
It really does. And
so that headache, ladies, that you try to say sometimes.
She used to run that headache on me.
Oh, shut up.
Medicine.
I've never told Colby in my life.
I got way more than some Tylenol. Advil.
Shush up. Anyways, but yes, it is because of what happens physically to your body. And if you do not know what happens to your body as a woman, if you do not know what happens to your body as a man, like literally things that are happening.
Physiology.
Yes.
The pathways that are opening.
Yes, the arteries that are opening, the blood flow that is happening within your body, there really is healing. And so when you get together and you think about like, babe, I'm aching, like, my back, or I really do have a headache, like engaging in that and him thinking about it and you thinking about it and you all are saying healing is coming. I mean, this stuff could really happen.
Right.
Not to freak you guys out or anything. Like I said, we are not here to buy or sell anything dealing with religion or spirituality.
Not at all.
But we are sharing just our experience with that.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, just getting to a level where you transcend the normal run-of-the-mill, just basic physical sex.
Yes.
And so,
because there's power!
We're going to be, 7 years in, and we are still growing in that realm.
You skipped over my whole power thing. You didn't hear me say that?
Oh, my bad. Do it again.
It was power! Okay, anyways, yes, we're coming up on 7 years.
So we're still growing. We're still learning. We're still connecting with each other. We're still getting to next levels. Like, we're still getting to higher planes of interaction and love making and just trying to build a stronger sexual bond with each other. And, it started off okay, then it got better, and it kept getting better. Then you have ebbs and flows. You got kids that come in. You got other factors, stress from your job, all that stuff. And so even though we know it's a healing factor and we know that, you can receive some relief and some stress relief from sex, sometimes you don't even want to get to that level. Like, you don't want to engage in it because the stress up front is so severe or so strong, you don't even want to try to connect with your partner. So, we're just trying to get to the point where we just, all that stuff cannot block our interaction. It can't block our spiritual connection when it comes to sex. And so we want you guys to kind of develop and get stronger. And, I know some people already came in strong before, at the beginning of their relationships. They came in all the way ready, but they might not be thinking of it in the mind frame of a spiritual connection that transcends just the normal run-of-the-mill sex.
So we hope that this has been somewhat helpful to you all. We know that with the topic of sex, there's a lot of different areas to address with, just on the topic itself. So we appreciate you taking the time to at least check in with us. I'm pretty sure we will definitely pick this topic up again.
Yeah.
And we would love for you all to engage and give us some feedback.
Right.
Tell us, what your experience has been like thus far in your marriage, as far as your sex life, as whatever is comfortable for you to share.
Right. Talk about your conscious and unconscious interactions sexually.
Yes. And you have an understanding about conscious sex, Yeah. What does conscious sex mean for you? How about you leave that in the comment? We'll be sure to check in with you all next time. Thanks for tuning in. Peace out.